You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out left earless, cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnapper, dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4. Or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moor's lips off. Disrespecting the mother Raz Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalists more spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bey, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorance, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same landmass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the landmass they know as the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they could just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear hoarse voices, see frog faces, and who's for feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back teeth. New Moors are an issue, get Ginsu. Maybe a dream visit from Vishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance. Active Moors are militants, SPLC dirty Moors call that sovereign citizen. Lying for views, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen Bays sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the MSTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got issues with
Keep it Kendrick Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirt is guilty of fraud if dually scrutinize their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge, the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates. In more face, watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying, so intricate.
long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
The supreme curriculum, the rhythm from this drum resembling rapid fire. I'm the live wire / sire. Admire my satire. This what happen when you combat fire with gasoline. Pitches coming at 115. Contact made is obscene. That's potential to monopolize the scene. The miss cream at a high rate. I can see them now, they irate. Flat line, once transgressing enemy lines. Nowadays it's propaganda. Number of depth in the lines. Shallow, I cannonball in the deep end with mine. Next is the front flip twist. All judges give me 9s. +1, I trust none. All I hear is conundrums. Picture not seeing a noble, but still hearing them coming. That's a diplomatic approach. Effective, uncoached. When encroached, aim for throats. So force the tides of the coast. Different from most. A sword control my design. Eat at your mind like injecting swine. These words divine. I'm in my prime. While elevating my prime mates, y'all do squares like looking down at landscape.
Niggas can't fuck with us, it's more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust. Spitting with us is dangerous.
Niggas can't fuck with us, more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust. Spitting with us is dangerous.
When it comes to metaphysics, don't tell me shit. I'm outside with my feds on, thoughts exist. I'm a Moor standing on my square firm, you bitch. Excuse my language, but I'm tired of these dirty tricks. Niggas be talking shit. it be obvious. Can't take you serious, you ridiculous. Still acting nigga-ish on some silly shit. Ain't never read a book, you serve the colonists. Smile in my face, but you stab in my back. I say I'm a Moor, cause I know that's a fact. Claiming you more, but you still acting black. Read a lot of books, but I know what you lack is justice. Niggas can't fuck with us, there's more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust. Spitting with us is dangerous.
Niggas can't fuck with us, more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust.
Yes.
Spitting with us is
Yeah.
dangerous.
I built with an empress, been on a mission, got plenty of game. You should've listened, no competition, you just in my way. Flow with an elevate, now you got some more knowledge today. My third eye vision, seen you from a couple miles away. I wanna take a trip, want this natural high to stay. Packing the 9 to blaze, making you fly your ways. I can't deny the weight on my shoulders, the lights away. I know that if I stay on the path, I find my way.
Niggas can't fuck with us, it's more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust. Spitting with us is dangerous.
Niggas can't fuck with us, more than us. Coming from Los Angeles, Morocco to us. If you wanna bust with us, prepare to bust. Spitting with us is dangerous.
Yeah. You know how we seek that higher knowledge. Only the ignorant can't relate. We just kill them with love instead of hate. That's what it's about.
We are Moors.
Shout out to the Grand Sheik, Cujo L, Iron Sheik. Yeah.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snapback, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green fairs, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? He talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave named Crest might have a Moor head. We are Moors.
20 Moors rockin', you could call them Moroccans. Great COS adepts, let's get it poppin'. Got a problem with my sheep? Got a problem with me. I be on the front line rolling 23 deep. I be studying for hours, 7 days a week, working on my higher self, cause the devil don't sleep. Big ups to Cujo L, that's the Iron Sheik. 7's up, facing the east, praising Allah. Astrology, cosmology, that's the real law. I slow roast ya, master the flame like Zoe Roaster. The rise of the new Moors, old heads move over. That Kundalini energy rising up like a cobra. This is training day, mount up with real soldiers. Elevate beyond the hate and claim your lost estate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snapback, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said?
I don't rock a hat, just a turban, no affairs. We are Moors.
Heard what I said? He talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave name crest might have a more head. Stop talking crazy. You can't be everything but Moors. That's like willing to stay minority and not mature. Therefore, Taj Tariq Bey taught the world don't respect you. However, since you wanna be it, you go down when they fall. They, the ones you call government, that's really a corpse. Black man means funeral director. Should make sense, of course. Music is the food and the message, the medicine. Mumble food is poison. I'm with the golden era veterans like Mobb Deep, condolences, QB, RIP Prodigy, who studied the history of the Moors and etymology. You missed the Corsica headband, disguised as a bandana. Moorish MC, the real Moroccan, not a French Montana. Kendrick Lamar, you Sarahite, trust me, Hebrew's a language. Lupe put Moors in his video, made the point vantage. Yassine Bey knows Sabir Bey knows Moorish Master MC. Fruquan Bey and Daddy IU are on some Moorish degrees. Spraga and Bojuno, they even killed Peter cause of Macintosh. Still visit Digable planets, hip-hop astronauts. Milky Way flow, rays of tassels, blind unbelievers. To higher than other senses, to still pick up the frequency. Pick your addiction, truth will still make itself known. To go platinum now, you gotta give up more plus your soul. Large Professor built pyramids, I watch Drink Champ steady. Cause Nori said Drew Ali on a track, so call me petty. Also Martin Moore exec produced the War Report album. Aboriginal Super Cat taught me how to hang and scalp them. Operation Lockdown, video feathers like a sailor do. Initiate invasions, activate outdoors every spook. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green fairs, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave name crest might have a Moor head. We are Moors. We are Moors. Heard what I said? We are Moors. Heard what I said? Heard what I said? Heard what I said? We are Moors. We are Moors.
I am a Moorish American man. Uplift humanity, that is my plan. This is Morocco, so this is my land. Open your hands, 5 on the left. Put up the peace sign, 2 on the right. Open your third eye, can you see the light? Not civil of the Martus. Full life, not civil of the Martus. Full life. More is a verb, more is a noun. Matter the more because black is an adjective. With the black saddest thing you are Madigan. Christian back coast, Pope of the Vatican. Listen, my people, no time for shenanigans. If this an island, I'ma call you Gilligan. Trace myself back, I'm Moroccan, I'm here again. Moorish Americans know what the spirit is. The more that you study, the clearer it gets. Did it myself, now I cheer again. This the prophet, we not friends again. Now I can hear again, see again. Welcome to me again, God being me again. Sons of Allah, did it with intelligence. Study, 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 did it with some diligence. 7-11, they mad cause I'm militant. Christopher Columbus, the slave and I'm serious. Slave is a bloodline, we did the labor. Leave me alone, I don't need any favors. Keep all that money, that shit is just paper. The United States is only on paper. The way you fight back, thoughts written on paper. You can save yourself cause no one can save you. Gotta study self, change your behavior. The higher, the lower. Now here come the danger. The lower is walking with one in the chamber. Higher is trying to control all the anger. My ego is saying fuck all of you haters. I'm ready for this, I'm ready for war. 2 seconds on the clock, 1 shot and I'm ready to score. Stop killing over colors, what's that for? Not nigga black colors, we are Moors. I am a Moorish American man. Uplift humanity, that is my plan. This is Morocco, so this is my land. Open your hands, 5 on the left. Put up the peace sign, 2 on the right. Open your third eye, can you see the light? Not civil of the Martus. Full life, not civil of the Martus. Full life.
Son of a mother, airship. None of the mothers can fierce dick. Pop smoking, but not broken. Riot spoken, screaming BLM. When you see them all, we ain't them. Stay strong, some weak with no end. The roof flow, track up the track, what the hell you know? We all moles, not baby clones. The great and the grave they roll. Nah, in the veins they yo. I'm NFA with y'all, but we ain't them. When the real and the real the real. Got news from CNN on MHS, Taj on VHS. Canaanland Moors with the latest. And to Muhammad, Ali, the greatest. If you talk color, not hearing ya. Bloodsuckers hold more than malaria. No need to put there's lots of fear in ya. Just throw you a book and you're scared enough. Bye-bye, little sheep while they're shearing ya. Next day, forget where you naked from. That's not a heart, that's the shape of a lady's bum. Or two separated, slice open atria.
I am a Moorish American man. Uplift humanity, that is my plan. This is Morocco, so this is my land. Open your hands, 5 on the left. Put up the peace sign, 2 on the right. Open your third eye, can you see the light? Not civil little martus. Full life, not civil little martus. Full life, I am a Moorish American man. Uplift humanity, that is my plan. This is Morocco, so this is my land. Open your hands, 5 on the left. Put up the peace sign, 2 on the right. Open your third eye, can you see the light? Not civil little martus. Full life, not civil little martus. Full life.
Corporate to run at the Cali. On paper, riots break up. Things I get open get carried. Take it in home to your family. This Lone Star, not Texas. It's Moorish, not matinee. Stay touring, not here to stay. This album rock, not United States. On the rock, not rock with me. On the block, firm, not top heavy. Push more with black, nothing happening. Who's wearing masks, getting robbed, not me. Real life monopoly.
Islam Moors, peace and love. Happy Holy Day to all the Moors worldwide. All the Moors worldwide. You already know right now that we have our campaign going on top of 77 days challenge. We now have the Moorish American Awareness Month challenge that we're going to be just putting it out every day. We're going to be dealing with something. So after yesterday, said we got to do a part 2. After yesterday, said we got to do a part 2. So our time's limited, so we're just going to get into this so we could get the Moors happy, so Juali could be happy. Islam Moor.
Islam Moor, peace. Happy holiday.
Happy Holy Day. Happy Holy Day. Glad you had some time today.
I'm glad that you invited me on. Islam, peace and Islam to the Moors worldwide.
So we're talking about this Moorish American Awareness Month coming out of state of Illinois. You know, we're recognizing that obviously people need to be made aware of this Moorish paradigm of the Americas. So, you know, just let us know what's been good with your travels, and is there proof of this Moorish American thing that people think is a religion and people think it's all these other stuff? You know, what have you found out just in your travels? And I yield the floor. You could take your time.
Islam. So I'll start your question. I'll start by answering your question like this. There is certainly, from my travels and from my journey in life through Moorish science and through other walks of life, there is definitely a Moorish presence globally, all across this planet, all across this plane, irrespective, with as much love and respect for the Moorish Science Temple of America, irrespective of the Moorish Science Temple of America, irrespective of any institution that exists currently. It is a timeless creed, a timeless culture, and it has been preserved in many different forms, whether that is literature, architecture, the culture, food, language, the diverse stories, the mythology, the pantheons that each different cultures have. I know you had Empress Khalifa Bey on here yesterday, and we traveled together. I love and respect for Empress, but she, in her travels through Chile, I know, sorry, when she was at East Island, she gave us the gift of letting us know that how they say thank you is Maruru. And then Brother Sheldon L, another one of my dear Moors, he gave us the gift previously of giving us the link in terms of the Maori language and the connections to the Moors and the Morai. And even the Empress Bay gave us the gift and the connection of the Morai or the Morai people being known on Easter Island. Those are just a few reference points that I'm giving because they're quite recent and quite topical at the moment. But even the photo that I have as my display picture was a Tartarian castle, a Moorish revival architecture castle that we found in the middle of Medellin, Colombia. And if any of the Moors worldwide know anything about the Tartarians and have ever come across the book, The One World Tartarians by James W. Lee, where he explicitly, even though he uses the misnomer of black, he quite explicitly gives an extensive breakdown of the extensive contribution and the extensive global reach and connection of the Moors throughout world history. Now, I can't share my the picture at the moment, but I hope that the Moors can see the picture on my screen, and I'll try and get the picture to the Grand Sheikh so he can share it potentially later on or even on his Instagram. But as you can see, that is if I didn't tell you where that was or where that was located on the map, you could easily assume that was potentially somewhere in Tartaria, where we call modern day Russia, or somewhere in Moscow, or in their most ancient city. I think it's called Turkestan. So,
pardon me, interjection. What's the name of the thing? Let me just look it up, see if it comes up on Google or something.
It's outside the Museo de Antiquita. Antiquia, outside the Botero Museum. 2 seconds. Let me try and find the image.
Because it's interesting what you said, that by the look of it, you're thinking that it's not this side of the world.
No, not at all. You could, if I didn't say where it was, you could easily assume it was anywhere. Grand Sheikh, where would you assume that building was if this building was, if I hadn't said where it was?
I definitely would have thought something in the east, somewhere in the east. I wouldn't have connected it to over here by the appearance of it.
And that just goes to show in terms of I'm getting some feedback.
Oh, that's me. My bad.
To the point that we make, or we say facetiously that Moors don't exist. Moorish science doesn't exist. We're telling lies. This is a remembrance and a revival, and I think that's a point that has been impressed on me. I've had the pleasure of connecting with studious and righteous Moors, and that's a point that's been impressed on me by Moors that have easily become my elders and my teachers very quickly, just due to their knowledge and the way they carry themselves. But the idea of there's never been a time that man has not been in existence. So if we're talking about a universal galactic culture, okay, if you don't want to call yourself a Moor, okay, what do you want to call yourself? You'd call yourself anything but a Moor. But then if you then look into your culture, your creed, your practices, you see it all links back into the same thing. So why are you running from yourself? Just be yourself. That's all the Prophet asked you to do. Proclaim and declare that you're a Moor, or proclaim and declare your nationality, and be yourself. So to answer your question in a very long and roundabout way before I yield the floor, everywhere I've traveled to, I've found myself in some way, shape, or form. I found uniformity. I found a link to culture. And more importantly, when I've placed myself amongst the affairs of men and stood on my square, I've never been let down. So I yield the floor, and I hope that answered your question very brief, in a very long, sort of winded way. But that's definitely been some learnings that I've definitely come to mind over my travels in this summer. Peace, Islam.
The other thing that I want to ask is with regard to what you just closed out with, your interactions with other nations. Give me two good ones that would hit home with our people about them being Moors, knowing that they're Moors, and some other nation that you've encountered.
Peace, Islam. I'll give you an interesting story first. When we arrived at our accommodation in Cartagena, it was a negative story technically, but it had interesting connotation. So we arrived, and obviously for those who have traveled to Cartagena, there is a very hustler sort of mentality and a very kind of like a very aggressive sales culture. So as soon as we got there, they were trying to find a way in order to finesse us for some form of fiat and some form of finance. But anyway, I say this to say that we got there and they were saying, they were asking us if we wanted some form of assistance, and obviously we rejected it a couple of times, and then the conversation went a little bit negative, and they started saying negra, 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 and we looked at them and corrected them, and we said, no, moro. And instantly he responded, sí, blanco, blanco. Now I say this to say that, and this was just someone that was just a quote unquote street peddler with no quote unquote knowledge of self, no understanding of Moorish science, no esoteric science. This was just a random person on the street. And once he was corrected and checked, he knew to understand and use the Spanish terminology for white instead of black. Now, I'm just going to leave that out there and ask the question, why? Why? And I'll put that to the side. And separately, we went outside our accommodation when we were actually in Bogota, and two instances. One where we met an Asiatic from a Mexam who was in Bogota on business. And the moment he saw us with fezzes, he was actually in communication with someone on the phone. His exact words are, hold on a second, I've seen some Americans. I need to address them. And all Empress and I were just in our habit with our fezzes, just waiting for an Uber to go about our business. And another time we were moving through, where were we? We were actually on our way to the temple. So we were actually on our way to a church, but it became a temple as soon as we entered where the Virgin of Montserrat. And on our way there, we had many people referring to us as Moreno, Morena. And when we addressed them and acknowledged them, we got into a conversation in the line while waiting to go up to one of the cable cars, asking about the Moors. And a gentleman in the line asked us, "Oh, where did you get that hat from?" And we corrected him and said it's part of our culture. It's not a hat. It's a fez. It's a tarbouche, a liberty cap. It has many different names in many different cultures. Where do you recognize it from? Posing the question and turning it back on the amalgamated Moor. He didn't recognize. He said, "Oh, it's not Moorish. It's Ottoman. It's Turkish." And then we got into a conversation. We showed him how we explained the Moorish Empire in Europe, how it's a universal global culture. And in the span of a 5-minute conversation, it went from a conversation of hostility to a conversation of acceptance. He was knocking on as we were moving past, because we were a little bit further ahead of him. He was knocking on the window, asking to see, get a reference point as to where he could find out more information, as to find out the links to the Moorish science or the links to the Moorish culture in terms of outside of quote unquote what he would classify as just being Turkey or the Ottoman Empire or just the Middle East, and just quote unquote Arabic, as it were, sort of culture. So I hope that gave a nice sort of like holistic sort of understanding, positive or negative. There is an understanding, or there's an energetic presence or resonance that's felt once we just be ourselves. And the more and more I move in this manner and move in the spirit of travel and the spirit of just exploration and finding and self-discovery, I find that something keeps coming up for me, that we can't expect others to honor us and treat us in our proper person if we choose not to stand in it. So with that, I yield the floor and hand it over to the rest of the panel. And Islam to my brothers that just joined. Peace.
Islam. So we'll just go Brother Bay, Brother Sheldon, Brother Tariq, and Brother Iz. I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam, fly on the wall. You know how I roll.
Islam, I just want to shout out Aseniah.
Islam, more peace. Islam, my brother, how are you?
I'm here, yo. I'm good. What are you saying?
It's good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you. I'm well. Everything's bliss. Islam, brother, is Islam. It's been a while.
Islam, mi hermano Aseniah, Bay. Hace mucho tiempo que no habla. Me hace falta, hermano. Me hace falta.
See, it is actually showing me up online now. See, hear that, brother Sheldon? Just 5 seconds. I'm already out of my depth.
You know what I'm saying? That's brother GMH for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you want to swim in the ocean?
We just gotta roll with the punches.
You want to swim in the ocean? You better get wet.
Hey, real quick side note. Hey, Brother Sheldon, with your kicks that you design and stuff, I can get at you through Instagram for those.
Yeah, man. I've been saying that I'm gonna have a summer sale soon. I'm actually gonna announce it in the next couple of days. I was trying to get some extra stuff to introduce with the summer sale, but it's not looking like the timing's gonna be right. So I'm gonna introduce the summer sale like in the next couple of days. It's gonna be 20% off everything.
I guess I'll wait a couple days. No, I'm just.
I'm gonna announce it on IG. I'm gonna put the code there, and you just put the code in to checkout, and that'll be it.
Islam, appreciate it. Love the work, brother.
Give thanks. Appreciate it.
Islam. Brother Iz, you had anything to add in before we continue on?
Oh, I just had to jump on because my brother Aseniah is on. It's been a minute since we've communicated.
Oh, all right.
The opportunity. So I yield, but I'll hop in a minute though.
Islam.
I just want to tell everyone,
Islam, boy.
Yes, I'm also chiming in, paying my respect to the panel as well. Brother Aseniah, great work, soldier. Great work. Keep informing us all. just want to say thank you, man, personally, for all the work everyone has done on this panel towards uplifting fallen humanity. Islam,
Islam.
Islam
doubt,
more, peace, Islam.
doubt, man, no doubt. Just got a lot to be thankful for in these day and times. You know, first of all, first and foremost, you just want to thank divine law for the gift of life, because without this, none of it is possible. None of it. So, thank you. All eyes on traders right now. We just sit back, listening, watching, and observing. Islam,
Islam.
Islam.
doubt.
Islam. And I just want to say real quick, I just wanted to give obviously honors and props to Prophet and all Moors on the panel and in the chat. But I have to shout out also Aseniah. I mean, we connected on stereo. Was it 2 years ago?
A while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago, 2021. Your
Yep.
brother Iz was there. Khalifa was there. And I remember I put out the challenge. I was saying, like, Moors in the UK, y'all should, like, at least meet up. Right? Cujo, you were there too.
Yeah.
You know, saying, you know, y'all should meet up and just at least to meet face to face. Y'all are in one area. You know, there's no excuse. And the interesting thing about it is Aseniah took it one step further. Came out to see me last year with Khalifa, and you know, we did the lives and everything. And it was so dope because it was so funny. So I go to pick him up at the airport and I'm waiting and I'm expecting to see a Moor come through with a fez on, right? And so, and I didn't know he was that tall. Like Aseniah is like 6'11".
Yeah, that one was a throw off. The video's lying in that one. The video's lying in that one. The video's lying.
You know, that's like Aseniah is like freaking Kevin Durant. Like he's just super tall.
Yeah.
And so he comes out of the airport, and I'm there with my fez on, and he has sunglasses on. He's dressed in white, and I'm kind of like, is that him? And so he walks past me, and I'm with my fez on. He walks past me, and he goes behind me, and he asked this woman. I think he asked this woman, talk to this woman about something. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's not him. And then finally he recognizes it. Oh, because, you know, when you're so tall, you just look over people, so he couldn't see me. And so
you gotta look down. You gotta look down.
You have to look.
He missed you.
You're killing me, boy.
And so and then like just hit it off right there, and we went and we got something to eat. Went to his where he was staying and everything. And yo, it was just, you know, when you meet somebody and it's just like you've known them for years and you're just talking and talking and talking and talking. And I was telling the Moors the story yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? About when we went to the museum and how the security was laughing at us because we'd spend like 10 minutes on one piece, just analyzing it and going into detail and everything. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the security would walk by, come back 10 minutes later. It's like, you guys are still here?
Exactly. And then you start asking us questions about like, why are you so interested? Like, because you'd say something, then I'd say something, Empress would say something. It's like, how do you get that perspective? And we'd keep going around.
Right. And it was just so dope. And then I remember conversation
master class.
I remember it was like, and I even posted the picture of like Empress found, what was it, troglodyte tia or something like that.
Oh yeah, troglodytia or something.
It, you know, in Al-Kebalan, on Al-Kebalan in part of, and we're like, okay. and it's on my IG. I took a picture of it and everything. So she found that, and we were looking at that globe for like 15 minutes, and she came by and she's like, "What's this?" She found it, and so just that synergy of, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other and just discussing things. And I remember when we were traveling somewhere, and actually I think it's when we went to Erlangen, because Empress wasn't there yet, right?
Yeah, it was the Erlangen. Yeah, I think it was the bus trip. Yeah, to Erlangen. Yeah.
Right. So we went to Erlangen.
Or Herzog.
Oh yes, it could. Yeah, it could be Herzog. Yeah. So we went to Herzog.
Herzog, yeah.
Took him to the Adidas headquarters and everything to show him how big it was and everything. And so we're traveling and we're having this conversation, and no joke as I'm saying it, and I remember telling Aseniah this. That conversation, I could literally feel like new neural pathways connecting in my brain. It was just like, what the hell? I remember that like it was so pleasantly intense to have a conversation that in depth about. I think we were talking about we're just talking about everything, and just to find someone that can go into that amount of depth and detail about just esoteric stuff. It was just incredible. And I remember like having a pleasant headache at the end of the day. I'm like, yo, my brain just expanded. My brain definitely expanded after this communication. And it was just dope. It was just amazing from day one. And then when we went to getting back to the this is funny actually, getting back to the museum. So the first time we went, I picked him up at his place, and it was raining just a little bit. So I had a turban on, and he wore his fez. And this is the type of thing that, you know, I keep speaking about with being in habit all the time. And my experience is the fez just garners way more attention than anything else, especially the red fez. Because I've worn my black one, I've worn my white. The white one stands out as well, but the red one really, the burgundy one really pulls people in. My turban, not so much. If I wear the turban and the fez, then that just puts it to another level. So I pick him up and I'm wearing my turban and he's wearing his fez. And we get to the museum and the security guard sees him and like stands up straight. And like everybody's giving Aseniah all this attention because he has his fez on. And I have my turban on and he's like, the light is shining on him. And everybody's like paying attention to it, like the security and the woman behind the desk who's giving out the tickets and all that. And it was just interesting to see that perspective. And I think it was great for him to feel that perspective, because this was the first time you were wearing your fez, if I'm not mistaken, right? This was the first time you wearing your fez.
He just dropped off.
Huh? Oh, he dropped off. Yeah, I think this could have been the first time he was wearing his fez. And he saw, yeah, there we go. So Aseniah, when we went to the first time we went to the museum, that was the first time you wore your fez, right?
Yeah, at Germany. Yeah, that's the first time I wore my fez in Germany. Right. Yeah.
So this is his first time experiencing the attention of like, oh, there's like, it's almost like, oh, a dignitary came to the museum. So the security guard was giving him like special attention, remember? And the woman behind the woman selling the tickets and all that, and you felt it.
I did. It was like they were waiting for me to do something, but also not sure what they were supposed to do, but they were willing to serve. It was a surreal experience. It definitely was.
Right.
Part of the interjection, not to cut your wisdom, but as a quick question, in that specific museum that you went to, Were there any fezzes on display?
No.
No.
Okay.
Actually, that's that yes and no,
Were there
because
paintings of or statuettes or anything?
Oh, there's coat of arms everywhere.
yeah, there's coat of arms everywhere. So that's why I said yes and no. There wasn't any I'd say actual tarbooshes or fezzes, but there was definitely I'd say more tarboosh style. Would you agree, Brother Sheldon, in terms of more short style,
Yeah, of course.
but just
Well,
fitting the period?
Well, tarboosh. Yeah, tarbooshes, but exactly, you still saw the turban wrapped around it. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Certainly agreed. Actually, tell a lie, there were Moors. There was if you remember, there was a piece of artwork. Now it's springing to mind, Brother Sheldon, where there was like it was depicting a city, and it was almost like there was like a revolution going on, and the people that were slaying people down by the sea or that were being thrown into the sea were wearing liberty caps, and they were being thrown.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That's true.
And there was Moors dotted around elsewhere, like the guards on horseback were also Moors as well. So they were. It was coded into the artistry. There was definitely a lot of stuff there. I still have to unpack those pictures and still look back through them. But great question, Brother Riz. I think I've cast my mind back. But sorry, more carry on.
Yeah, no, the coat of arms were amazing, and they're huge. We're not talking about little pictures. We're talking about the full-on real coat of arm with the Moor's head sticking out and whatnot on high up on the walls that you got to look up and take a picture of it. It's like sitting on the wall. It wasn't just a picture or anything like that. It was the wooden carving of the actual coat of arms. And there's tons of them.
Pardon me, that sounds like Corsica Chronicles to me.
Now, Corsica Chronicles?
Yeah. Heraldry, coat of arms.
So yeah, it was amazing. But then all that to say, I was actually glad. Excuse me. I was glad that I was there. I was happy that I was there to see Aseniah's reaction to people reacting to him with his fez on for the first time. Because I remember the first time I actually wore mine out to take the picture for my for the passport, and wearing it, walking to the passport office and feeling like I'm putting it on and my back just is extra straight. Every time I have my fez on, it's like my back is extra straight. I don't know what it is. Or I know what it is, but you know what I'm saying. And then coming back and a police officer is speaking to somebody at the side of the road, and then he stops and he starts following me with his eyes, like in amazement. And I'm like seeing that at a peripheral of my vision. I'm not looking at the officer, but I can see like there's a level of like, wow. And all the attention, and this is just in the city, and all the stuff that's happened to me when I told you coming back from the gym and somebody says he looks like a prince of whatever, and just the red fez, blazing red fez the whole time. So it was beautiful to see Aseniah's reaction, or his reaction to how that initial awe, if you want to say, of the security guard and just the people who worked at the museum, how he was looked upon. You know, and I was and I started joking with him. I was just like, "Hey, what about me? I'm here too," you know.
Well, you should have seen it when we were at the Museum of Freemasonry at London at the Grand Lodge of England. You thought that was bad, more. You should have seen how the security guard was tripping over themselves in order to kind of just get close to Empress Khalifa. You've seen how the modern European daughter wanted to run downstairs into the archives and run back into the annals to try and find anything that she could. She was trying to take her on a special tour. So if you thought that was special treatment, more, you could only imagine how I must have felt just holding the bags next to Empress Khalifa in the Museum of Freemasonry at London.
Yeah. That must have been, but it's the same, like it gets me. But yeah, it gets me thinking of like Years ago, there's a rapper, Big Pun, right? And he had the song "I'm Not a Player," and then in that video, it's raining, and you have Fat Joe, who's another big dude, holding an umbrella over Pun while he rhymes. And it's almost like Pun is the royalty, and I'm a big dude too, but I got to give it honors to Pun, so I'm going to hold this umbrella over him because it's raining, so I don't want him to get wet, but I'll get wet. So it's similar to like when you when we went to the museum and they were giving you all this praise. I was like Fat Joe holding the umbrella over you for you to get the shine. You know what I mean? And I guess it was the same thing for you when you went to the museum with Empress, and everybody saw Empress with the locks and the fez, and you were watching them trip over her. It's like you holding the umbrella for her. You know what I mean?
Certainly more. And to the I know that you said as a joke about hosting a like foreign dignitary, but it's definitely, I understand what you mean and get that feeling, because that's exactly how it felt when I was hosting Empress here in London. There's a certain pride and a certain, you just get this feeling, a swell inside you that you almost feel proud for the place that you're domiciled or near, because you're like, oh, so this is how we really turn out once people are in their proper person. They know who Moors are, and it's just such a great feeling to kind of facilitate that.
Right, and that's how it was when you guys visited me. When you guys came, I was like, I wanted to like show y'all everything. I was like, okay, we got to go here, we got to go there, and I wanted everyone in the city to see three Moors walking together in habit.
You're not fucking Moors, you dumbass.
Right. I wanted the city to see that. You know what I'm saying? To see, just to show that unity, that there's more than one. Because I'm pretty sure the city only knows of me. I'm the only one here, like I said, wearing a red, that I've ever seen wearing a red fez ever. And there's other Kibalanians here that I've seen they're not wearing it. I've seen one, I mentioned it before, one, I think he was a shaman. He had a white one on, a tall white one with no tassel, but it was all, and he was all dressed in white. I saw him once on the street speaking to somebody, and never saw him again. So just to have three of us, traveling around, and how it was when we went to Munich and all these different places, I love that feeling. So when y'all came, I wanted to host y'all. I wanted to show y'all a great, great time and see like, yo, this is what it's like as a little piece of what it's like. You know what I'm saying? And when we went to the Moors tea shop and all that. So yeah, man, I just wanted to say to y'all Moors, let y'all know it was dope having them here. It was like, yeah, man, it's like we known each other for years, man. And it was great. It was great.
I want to go back to something. I want to go back to the feeling. Going back to Brother Aseniah with the feeling, the whole thing with the fez, wearing the fez and the attention and all that. That relative to what did it, has that been unpacked yet? Because first time it was crazy for us was doing the Afrofest festival that they had out here. When we did that for the first time, and all the Hindus and whoever were coming up to the table, like, yo, who are you people? Like, let me take a picture with you. That it was off the chain. It was like, how come this never happened before? I'm the same individual. Like, why has this never happened before? Like this thing, this red thing did all this? Like, holy smokes. It's crazy. But yeah, just the feeling of it.
Islam, Ganchi. And yeah, to the feeling, and I'll tell a story in a second, but there's a reverence, and there's a certain humility that you gain with it. It's very humbling because there's a wealth of culture, and the idea that you stand on the shoulders of giants truly is a feeling and a sentiment that you get. The idea that good, bad, ugly, in terms of our ancestors laid down the framework and the cogs of civilization. And when I say our ancestors, yes, we include the individuals that we're speaking to. So the Hindustanis that you were referring to, for example, in your example, they were almost revering their ancestors in us. It's a link for them back to their own culture as well. It's a link back to their own ancestry. So by us being in our proper person, we allow other people to find their link back to their place in the human family. So I remember, and to sum up, just in my travels when I was at Canaanland at the barbecue, and you said, asking about, has it truly been unpacked? To answer your question, honestly, Grand Sheik, no, it hasn't. I'm still thinking and reviewing and unpacking certain things, but I'm just instantly, when you asked the question, I remembered sitting in the park, just conversing with Moors and being in that energy, and just out of nowhere, a Turkish brother came over with his son, and I had his back to him, and he greeted me with Assalamu alaikum. And almost instinctually, automatically, I found myself turning and saying wa alaikum salam without even realizing who I was speaking to then have my eyes upon the individual that I was speaking to. And he just said, I wanted to come over and say hello. And the words that he spoke to his offspring were, his son said to him in terms of, oh, what's going on? What are they doing? And he said, oh, son, they're celebrating their culture. We had the Moorish flag flying. We were sitting in the park in habit, fezzed up. And so I'll yield the floor with saying that, again, these experiences are in no way, shape or form by coincidence. If we're not Moors, to the individual that just jumped onto the panel, why is it that when we just be who we are, everybody knows who we are? If we're not Moors, who are we? Because everybody else knows we're Moors. So why is it that when we know we're Moors, it's a problem? Islam, I yield the floor.
Great work, Brother Aseniah. Great traveling, good information you putting out, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Personally, I appreciate it. Nobody else does. If no other foreign appreciated that come on the panel, we do. Islam.
Islam. Yo, I know I don't have to say this again, because I know I've said it on multiple occasions, including yesterday. But it's worth bearing to repeat in this juncture. The best, or some of the deepest collections of not just memorabilia, but of chronological events of the past that clearly shows who's truly a free white person and who is not. And when I say the term free white person, for those that are listening, check out Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Read the full definition. It clearly
Islam, make me check it out.
Who is it? Not for the panel, because I know the panel already knows this. But the best collections are held by these foreigners, elders, in their personal home libraries. And they don't see the light of day till that elder transitions and they wind up having what's called an estate sale. Basically, Pop passed, and he happened to be a 33rd and 4/4 or whatever. And all his books and maps and paintings and ceramics and vases and
He
jewelry,
couldn't
all of
take to the
that.
grave with him.
Yep, can't carry with you. And then the younger siblings, the youngers, they don't know what it is that they have. And they're just like, I don't need to carry this dust collector. So they put a price tag on it, whether incredibly high or ridiculously low, matters not. Whether they understand or don't understand, matters not. What matters is we know. And no matter what anybody wants to say, we still know. Because as much buffoonery,
Oh,
as much naysaying as anyone wants to put up, as much distraction as, yo, you sold your own peoples, those peoples are race traders, blah, 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 genocide, sellout you got with the foreign wind, whatever the story is, answer this one question. How does that change the legal definition of free white person?
Ice Cube, how does that change the definition? Ice Cube, sell out.
It don't. So whether it's Cube, whether it's Snoop Dogg, whether it's Dre, whoever's, if someone says, if you say 2 + 2 is 4, and whoever who got quadrillions of people following goes, oh man, that person's he's stupid, crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him. Yada yada yada. Makes all these jokes, and it feels like the whole world is joining in, laughing at you. Does that change the fact that 2 + 2 is 4? No.
No, it doesn't. Ask Chris Rock.
Exactly. So that's the point. Once you know the information for self, it don't matter what the world says. They're either going to get on board or they're going to support whatever other alternative narrative that they wish. But it's still
Baloney lives matter.
that, like celebrating Christmas. You think it's Johnny St. Old Nick coming down a fireplace down the chimney? Okay, because that's whether you know that's the only story or whether you know that there's a star that's hanging on the cross every Christmas that's dead, meaning never rises for 3 days and then starts going up, and that starts the actual calendar clock moving you towards La Primavera, what we call the spring. It doesn't matter whether you know or not, it's been happening. It always happens. You should take more pride in the fact that you know that that's what's going on than trying to get self gratification because you can get others to cheer you on. That's that lane. That's that look at me, look at me. Now, that being said, that's definitely different than Brother Aseniah Bay's situation, being that the Freemason the spot with the Empress. And were you in habit, Aseniah?
Always, brother, is always.
All right. So that right there, yo, I could imagine in that venue, everyone and their moms literally breaking a leg, a hip, or something because they're. Do do you realize what y'all did? Just walking in, you had a mother come in with a noble in habit into that locality No,
Made a
no,
lot of people
no,
uncomfortable.
no. Other way around, brother. Other way around.
Validated them.
They got, oh my gosh, starstruck because they've only read about what those two just did. Understand? They've only heard stories, and in the form of degrees that they had to pay for, they're actually were able to witness it by eye. So if the Grand Master of that lodge wasn't present at the day, he or she, because they are female Masons too, by the way, out there in the UK, um, he or she lost the opportunity to see the actual archetype, a mother, a noble mother, an empress with her noble came in to this edifice. You know how many Freemasons try to get a Moor to show up to their lodge? Apparently, that's like a grand kudos, big check mark within their secret society club if they are able to ascertain it, to get a true noble to pay them a visit without some type of um, coercion, positive or negative. It's a big feather in their cap, so to speak, if it was because of their invite, a actual true Moor walked through the dates. A lot of us don't know that. A lot of us see
Yeah, I was
when,
one of them. I didn't know that.
Mhm. When people start getting into conversations about the Fez, whether it's a Shriner thing, whether it's a Freemason thing, we already know the answer is neither. And it's both at the same time. It's almost like Schroeder's cat or whatnot. The cat's both dead and alive in the lockbox. Why do I say that? Simply because what's Freemasonry? It's them practicing to be us. And one of
Islam.
us walks in to their dojo, for lack of a better term, in a peaceful manner and said, "Yeah, this look about right," and then walk out. Literally. At least that's what
Well,
happened to me in Indiana. But that's a different story for another day. With that,
oh, that ain't what happened to me though. That's why I said what I said. Every time I go around and with my feds, though, they get uncomfortable. Cause I'm not in their buddy club, but I let them know to their face they so loud. So I make them real
that's why they're
uncomfortable.
getting comfortable. You know,
Right.
I mean,
I
don't get it
don't
twisted.
like.
I'm not saying you. Nobody is supposed to be no kiss up, this, that, and the third. No, none of this BS. Get along and get in where you fit in BS. No, 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 no. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is there is ways that we have been known throughout the course of time to be able to literally curse you out to your face in such a way that the entire crowd, including the person that your attack was aimed at, will gracefully say, "Thank you, and I hope you return." That is being a Moor with the forethinking.
That's
Anybody
tough
can
on.
walk in to anywhere, kick in the door, waving the 4-4, and talk smack. That don't take nothing. But to walk into a place full of your enemy and have them eating out your palm with a smile on your face while you still set them straight, sir, that's a skill, noble. That's a skill. It's called diplomacy, what we was known for.
No doubt, soldier respect. I let them eat off the scimitar though.
There it is. I yield.
I let them eat right off the scimitar. You got time to be playing with them. You sold me out, soldier. Not you specifically, but they did. You're in the club. You put that confidence in the square. You trying to put that confidence in the square. inside the club. You're trying to take Great Seal symbol and use it as a symbol for y'all club. Wrong concept, as far as I'm concerned.
What symbol
All
hasn't
of
been
them
taken?
they
Honestly,
try, right?
what
They
symbol
try.
hasn't been? I've seen brothers catch flack on flights because they have a swastika, a so-called swastika, or what others call a swastika emblem somewhere on their person, whether it be a medallion or on a shirt printed. And I'm like, that's no swastika. There's 4 dots in each corner. That's the Lalibela cross. Or if it has the 4 dots, actually, that's Hindustani, and it represents the 4 seasons. It represents the 4 corners of the planet. You call them north, east, west, south. Had nothing to do with some short Austrian who had issues with some Yiddish people. Nothing to do with that. But they touched it for 10 to 15 years. However, we can show you where we carved it out of stone thousands of years ago just by looking up the Lalibela cross in Eritrea. Still there to this day. So if somebody touched something of yours that has always been yours and got it soiled in a blink of an eye, 10 minutes or whatever, of holding it, does that negate the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years where it meant something positive, where it did the exact opposite of what these newbies did?
No, it does not mean anything different. Great Seal means Great Seal, baby. Been flying for over
Exactly.
600,000 years. 600 years. That don't
Exactly.
belong. That don't belong in no club. They can play games all they want to by themselves.
And
Just
with that, I yield.
just to add on to what Brother Iz was saying, this is why I say it's important. I constantly say it's important for us to be in habit and to claim what's ours, because it's like these symbols that we created thousands of years ago are now being used and tarnished, and then people are trying to ban them, and it's like, no, these are our symbols. So how is anybody to say that? Why are our people, or certain people, then I would say, taking the modern tarnished meaning of it and saying now it's no good, we can't use it, when it had a pure inception?
Lack of knowledge.
Of course.
But
Islam.
that's really what it boils down to.
Of
Because
course.
once you break out your references and you show the long chronological history of it being here, wherever on the planet, it makes that 5-second blink of tarnish turn into a micro speck.
Ashe.
You know, it doesn't even, it ends so much. But at the same time, we know that within certain groups, within certain entities, they have pushed a certain indoctrination on certain points and certain symbols just to scare people away. Why do you think the horror genre, and I don't care if you're talking about books or if you're talking about magmas or if you're talking about movies, the horror genre, how many times do you not see a pentagram come up?
Yeah.
But how often do you have to tell people, yeah, but it's upside down? It's really a sign of distress. Because the last I checked, when you fly a symbol upside down, like a flap that's on the flag, it means what? There's great distress going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But they're trying to say, no, that's the onset, that's all this, that's Moloch, that's Baal, blah, 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 whatever. But
What if you fly
here's
a
the thing.
banner upside down? Is that still a flag?
Well, there you go. And hold on. Had them look at that pentagram, right? and then have them go to their favorite browser and pull up a Wikipedia page. Go look at the planet Venus. Look in the upper right-hand corner of the Wikipedia page when you pull up the planet Venus and tell me what you see. They show you the petroglyph for it. The glyph for the planet. Guess what that is?
5 points, bro.
And it's green.
Green pentagram. See what I'm saying? So if women are Venus and men are from Mars, you know.
And representing Friday, so today is Venus Day as well. Hope y'all
There
Moors
it
were wearing some green today.
But even to camelback off your point, brother, and also your point, brother Sheldon, I want to just challenge people to look at things with discernment and think about the principle of duality and applying that. Even while we take the sign and symbol that is modern day known as the swastika, more or anciently known as the labella cross, as brother has said. Even while, and this is, I think, a point that a lot of Moors find difficult to reconcile in terms of the good with the bad and kind of that balancing of that energy. Okay, even while it's not positive, look at the amount of energy and the amount of power behind the symbol, even that it was able to be amassed in terms of as a symbol of hate for so many people, and look at how the world changed. So I say that to say, in terms of not in any way endorsing any form of negativity or bias against any form of group, creed, or culture, but it's important for us to have a balance of perspective and understand that anything that can be used for what is seemingly great good can also be used on the opposing side for seemingly great evil. And I think that as Moors, or as those who are on the journey and study of self, that's one of the things that we classify in terms of a shadow work, in terms of being able to integrate and understand the aspects of self that we don't like to let see the light of day, but once we do bring them into the light of our awareness, we're able to contend and deal with them and deal with those aspects of ourselves that, once integrated, help us to rise to that right upright perpendicular that we're striving to be. So with that, I'll yield and hand back to the panel, but I just wanted to kind of like interject that into the thought that it's important that we kind of balance the good with the bad, in terms of even using those kind of dualistic concepts. Islam.
Brother Aseniah, I know you were saying your time, you had a little time limit. How's your time looking like? And if you're about to leave, if you have any closing remarks for the Moors before you leave.
Yeah, I've got about 10 more minutes. And I'll
All right.
Then I'll slide.
Cool. All right. Yeah, any Moors have anything to add on?
Before he goes, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, brother Aseniah.
Islam.
Thank you, Morton. Peace.
I want to give thanks too for your travels, man. You know, you've came a long way, because I remember the first time we talked on stereo, you know, and it was a lot in the beginning, in the very beginning, a lot of intrepidity, but as the conversation grew and time went on, you could tell, you heard it, you felt it. You didn't have to see it because it was only audio, but you felt it through the audio. You know, that the bond, the trust, that the intent, the light was there. So to camel back off your point, though, briefly, I won't go down a list of all symbols, because there's thousands upon thousands and thousands. But I will come back in the sense of saying this. We know that others, right, join societies, organizations, secret, occult, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, and they learn of us and of our ancestors, the giants whose shoulders we stand on. When they get into their plight of whatever they do, whether positive or negative,
they know to take those emblems and then to use them for their deeds, regardless of the intent. We have a tendency, because we're getting refreshed in the illustrious past of these things, to give credo to the negativity, because we find out about the longer positive past afterwards, if that makes sense. We were told Nazis were bad for so long that just the concept of seeing that symbol that was plastered everywhere within whatever courses you had to take as being bad, that trying to unravel that for individuals it becomes a personal struggle until you are well marinated in the information. And then it's like, why are we even giving even a breath to it, to the negative side that was there for a blink of an eye? You know, don't look at the FBI memorandum that got released with the pedo symbols. Almost every single one of them, I can tell you the Moorish history behind them. You know, the boy lover, which is that symbol that looks like a coil. There ain't no damn boy lover crap. You can go to the Tainos, which I am, and we have that carved in stone, painted in caves on multiple islands. Why? That's how we denoted a hurricane. It's force, that swirl. What does the hurricane do when you watch it on a map? When they're tracking it, when it's inbound, it swirls as it proceeds, building up strength to get to where it needs to get. So that's just one other. But I'm saying the majority, if not all, of these negative symbols, that's recent. Recent being within the last 100, 200 years. But if you go further back, you'll see it'll go 10, 15, 30 eons back, if not more, that it was positive for some part of our culture. And that's why the negative folks try to, for lack of a better word, bite it. Islam, I yield.
Yep, that symbol of our nation flag goes back over 50,000 years ago. Maximum principle still exists right now today.
Islam.
And this is why I say, like, the same way how out here they're slowly but surely getting rid of the Moor, getting rid of the title Moor. They already changed the name of Mohrenstraße in Berlin, right? And when Aseniah and I and Empress were at the Moor's tea shop having a conversation with the owners, and we said this in the live, like, they're getting pressure to change the name, and they know the history. They know it goes back. They know it goes back to the high priest of Anu. When we're talking about that, they're like, "Yeah, we know."
And we know, Brother Shelton, that genocide is a crime against the international community. So charge them with it.
So yeah, this
genocide.
Yeah, this is why I say it's important. It's important. It's really important for us to claim what's ours and let it be known, and always be in habit. Whenever you're outside, be in habit.
Islam.
For real, they're trying to get us. They're trying to wipe us off the planet, destroying everything that's connected to anything Moorish. Trying to destroy it.
But to your point, when you're saying, the thing is, the they is literally some of our people as well.
Us, yeah, and that can't be forgotten. That can't.
Yeah, and that's
the Boulay members, the messengers.
It's because, like, our people think literally everything is racist, and then their good friends that are also Europeans just follow what they say. Like when I was, I told this story years ago when I first did the first Canaanland Wars in 2012, where I was saying that my friend Flo, who's a gym teacher, he was saying, yeah, we learn you as Moors, but then y'all started calling yourself black and this and African American and so on, and we just follow you guys. You guys are supposed to know yourselves better than us, so we just follow what you guys are saying, and that's what's going on. Our people are saying this is racist and this is racist, and if you sneeze wrong, it's racist, and you know what I mean? You walk across the street and you trip over your own shoelace, that's racist. Like everything is racist. And then,
But those,
and then their friends are just like, okay, well, if you say it is, and it's pushing this narrative.
Not to cut your wisdom, Brother Sheldon. I just interject and to add to your wisdom. Moorish science is about unity to me, and obviously, our first principle is love. So, I asked the question and challenge Moors to really think to ourselves that the same level of superiority that you might feel and feel, or you might aggrandize yourself with once attaining Moorish science and seemingly knowledge of self, do you not also feel that that comes with a responsibility now to clean up and clear up? Essentially,
yes, it absolutely does. It means to honor your bloodline.
It does.
Honor your bloodline.
And I completely agree with you more. So I'd say that I'll say this as my closing remark, as just to sum up my journey in the summer. Unity is the most apt word to use to sum up, I'd say, the last 3 years, let's say, in my journey through Moorish science, and then also my journey just this summer. Moors, challenge yourself to bring other cultures and races. And when I say races, we know there's only one human race, but we use the colloquial term other races and nationalities, other people that don't classify themselves as Moors, including MBCs, modern Europeans, any other nation. Challenge yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and try and bring them into a knowledge of self, and not in an evangelistic sort of way. I mean it. Have the conversation. I'll leave you with this last story. I was traveling when I was with the Moors, with Brother Yasoon, and some other Moors, actually, and with the Grand Sheikh. We were going to, we just went to the store very quickly. Again, nothing special, but we were in habit. There was a Hindustani man in a red motorized mobility chair. On the way there, he drove past us, and he kind of he went round us. It wasn't a big deal. He moved on. Anyway, we did what we needed to do at the store, and we were traveling back. The same Hindustani man just struck up a conversation with us, and anyway, the conversation progressed, and he was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And Brother Yasoon, "We're from here, Morocco." And he said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Pakistan." And I interjected and said, "Oh, Hindustan." He said, "No, Pakistan." And Brother Yasoon said, "Hindustan before Pakistan?" He said, yes. And the conversation unfolded from there. And he knew who the Moors were. It didn't even last any longer than a couple of minutes, but I'm leaving you with that story for this simple reason. The more we be ourselves and the more we're willing to, as Brother Is said on the panel earlier on, the more we're willing to hand out these lessons with a smile on our face and kind of serve people with honey rather than vinegar. And yes, I do accept and do agree that the Scimitar does need to come out when it does need to come out, but kind of challenging ourselves to put our best foot forward and essentially really be about the principles that we say that are the foundations of our nation. So if love is our founding principle and our guiding principle, let us approach those in ignorance with love. And it's a love for self. If nothing else, it's a love for self. Because if you can't approach someone who is ignorant, someone who's blind, someone who is hungry, and someone who doesn't know themselves, who is hungry for spirit, who's hungry for knowledge of self, if you can't approach them with love, why should you be treated with any love? So I say that to say that Moors, I love you all. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Be yourselves, study, challenge yourself to love yourself enough to love another. And I thank the Moors on the panel. Give thanks. Peace. Islam.
Islam. So we love you too, man. And
Islam.
also a side note, we recognize all civil-minded individuals, but we love to see the way they don't fly. Hard heads, stiff necks, we love to see the way they don't fly. Scimitar on them all time, all day, every day. Love you, brother.
Aseniah, give thanks.
Love you, brother Aseniah.
Islam, Moors. Give thanks.
Peace is Aseniah. We'll build soon.
We'll build. Islam. Islam, brother is. Islam, Grand Sheikh. Islam, brother Bay. Islam, brother Sheldon.
Islam, so.
Islam, noble.
Islam. Before I don't know if Quran had
now.
just finally on dropping or ending this, but I just wanted to camel back on the point that Brother Sheldon brought up. Real quickly, Brother Sheldon has video evidence of exactly what he was discussing. Not 5 minutes ago. And everybody had video. Because now people have been chopping and adding that segment of when you asked that gentleman who was smoking a cigar,
Bashar.
Bashar, thank you.
We were smoking, and not to cut your wisdom. Really quick, like people are using that, and I wish that I had watermarked Canaanland Moors on it because all these people are using it and not giving credit.
Exactly. But we know where it's from. You know, we know where it's from.
Great work, brother Sheldon.
That interview right there, you literally video recorded exactly the plight of all Occidentals that know but don't say it when in mixed company. And what do I mean by that? The first thing out of Bashar's mouth in your clip, I don't know if this is from the entire conversation, but just from the clip that you aired and you released to public, he said what? He said, yeah, with his little accent, right? Yes, this is why I had to ask you if you knew what the relationship between the Bay of Tunis, or what have you, I'm paraphrasing here, and America or Morocco or the Maghreb, what that relationship was.
Yeah.
That little segment right there, what he's literally telling you is the answer that every Occidental who knows
that is Morocco
can or cannot put to words. And let me finish my point. What he is telling you, okay, and what other Occidentals are telling you in Germany, that they know we're Moors, but they're not about to start and have a master degree class on the fly for a naysayer. So if you're a naysayer, it's easier to just go with the fallacy of the falsehood because no one's going to get hot. No one's going to pull out the scimitar. But if you start talking correctly and showing that you're erudited in the information, then they know it's copacetic to come back with, yeah, we know that, but whatever have you, you guys started saying this, that, and the third. No, it wasn't Moorish saying call us Negro, black, or colored, because Prophet told us is one of the first lessons. Come all ye Asiatics, find out the truth about your what? Birthright and nationality. You are not Negro, black, or colored, African or Ethiopian. We wasn't
Sellout is
African.
real, y'all.
We wasn't African until there was no Africa until what? The continents split up. Sure, people are gonna go ha 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 Pangea theory. Okay, you're throwing shade on Pangea theory, but you got no problem quoting the Clovis theory when the UN already has documentation and proof
Or
backing
the Charles
everything that was
Darwin
stated.
theory.
So you want to talk about an ice bridge being built and that being there and certain folks walk down, okay, but that doesn't explain the 20-ton she heads. I don't even want to say Olmec because nobody back then used the term Olmec. That's a term of disparage. You understand? Olmec is a concatenation of Ol, not OLD as in David, but O like OLE, like Yuletide, you know? Oh ye, sing the song that gets sung for quote unquote the new year. That's also a Moorish song too. Atlanteans. That was sung when the continent shelf split and you just seen part of your family drift off into the horizon. That's the history of that story that's sung now on the 31st or the first when you just as you hit midnight. That's where it comes from. You ain't got to believe me. Do your own research. You'll find it. If I found it, you'll find it. Because I didn't go to no secret squirrel club, show no fancy handshake, or do some weird stuff to get this info. I just looked. That's all you got to do is look. Keep both eyes open with your foundation and look. You'll see it. There's a lot of language out there that you don't even know that you know. You speak multiple languages without knowing it. And most of y'all listening here going, what are you talking about? I only speak English. Bullshit. You speak music, you speak emotion, you speak sight. The hell is brother is talking about? You look at a building today, you look at a doorway and tell me the shape. Is it a rectangle? Parallel, the top is parallel to the bottom, sides parallel to one another? Okay. Yep. You know that's modern day. But when you look at certain buildings and you see these grand archways, three doors, kind of looks familiar for some reason, or you start seeing these shapes and symbols of frequency, but put into stone, either above your head, on the floor, or detailed mantling, or a handrail, or what have you, that comes from us. That's the language of architecture. You look into that, and then you start finding words like Baroque. You start finding words of Moorish revival. It's already in the name, but you could keep going further back and say, why is that a revival of? Where's then the original Moorish stuff? If this was the revival stuff, and you go further and further and further back. But until you do that for yourself, hearing somebody talk all pretty about it, and no, I'm not trying to say that I'm the most eloquent because I know I'm not. But until you go do that yourself, you try to repeat this conversation that you're listening to tomorrow at the water cooler or on Monday when you get back to wherever it is that you JOB at, more than likely you're going to screw the whole thing up and you're going to look pretty asinine because it's not in you. You're just parakeeting. But when you do the legwork and figure it out for yourself, it don't matter what angle somebody come at you. It's yours. and you'll know the proper way to defend it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go instantly grab the scimitar. It means that you have to think of the situation. Okay? Use your intelligence. Prophet said, speak in an intelligent tone, and you'll be rewarded with what? Positive reply. Right? Especially when you're speaking to those that know law.
I apologize, Brother Ed, for being so quick with it with the scimitar, but 7 articles of 10
No need.
really
No
rights is my
need to
only
apologize.
protection.
You are with your brothers. And if that's what's in your spirit and that's the point that you want to carry, I support you 1,000%. Every
Thank
day,
you.
all
Thank
day.
you. Thank you,
Because
man. Love you, man. Thank you.
some people need it, especially like that foreigner to try to jump on this panel right now a little while ago, yelling some stupidity stuff. You know, I'm not going to get
No,
mad at it because that's why I
definitely.
made my point. 2 + 2 = 4. No matter what kind of tantrum you want to throw, it still equals 4. So a more is a more is a more. And right now you got 4 mores right here. Now what?
All day, every day.
Exactly.
Nationality is still an order.
Yep. Islam. I yield.
It's funny that you said a more is a more is a more, because that's literally speaking of one of the speaking about the museum that Aseniah and I went to. One of the security guards there was a young brother from Russia, a young European, modern European from Russia, and we just started talking and so on. And he sent me a message just a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday or the day before, saying that he's moving to Berlin and he wanted to link up before he went. And so I was actually surprised to hear from him. Like, after we met the museum, exchanged like IG and all that, kept in touch a little bit, and then I didn't hear from him for a while. And then he contacted me before he goes to Berlin, so I was surprised, right? So he said, I taught him about quote unquote Black culture. And he said that, and I corrected him. And what Brother Is said, a more is a more is a more, is what I put in there. I said, like, a more is a more is a more. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't really get it until I asked him, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Russia. I said, then you're Russian, you're not white. And I'm a Moor, I'm not so-called Black. And he said, I got you. I get it.
Do me a favor, Brother Sheldon. If you
Islam.
do link up with that brother, ask him a question for me. All right. Ask him if he knows about Rasputin.
About Rasputin? Okay.
Yeah. And then after you ask him that, I don't care what his response is, whether it's negative or positive. Okay. Once he acknowledges that he knows that there was a Rasputin, right? Ask him, what was Rasputin's nickname amongst his country folks, among his family in the nationality of so-called the Soviet Union? All right. So that you know the answer, I'll give you the key.
So hold on. Wait. Slow down.
Hold on. Wait. Is it Putin?
You said, what was Rasputin's nickname?
Yeah.
Putin.
What was he known as? Rasputin.
Okay. Because I'm writing this down. Known as by his countrymen, by his fellow countrymen.
By his fellow countrymen in his time. What was he known as? Because he was very popular.
Just Putin bombing Ukraine.
Not Putin, the current president. Rasputin. He lived back with the Bolshevik days. We're talking the early 1900s. Okay. And in fact, there was a 70s disco song by a Moor who sang the song that sang about him. You can see the video on YouTube. He's, you know how the 70s were. People wearing the tight, shiny things, jumpsuits, and dancing disco. But anyway, there's a song about him. But the answer to the question that I just gave you of what was he known as by his fellow countrymen, that I guarantee you, if he's truly studied, he'll know. Rasputin was known as the Moor. Changes the whole complexion about that, the whole concept of that song from the 70s, and why a quote unquote so-called Negro disco song singer would be singing a song about him. Makes more sense now that you know he was known by his people as being the Moor.
I don't get it. All this information, and then somebody gonna jump on the panel and say we're not Moors with all this information linking in the air.
Because we have the info, and that person is lacking, and people suffer because of a lack of knowledge. So they
No, that was a troll for real.
Some people just want to troll. Some people just want to
That
troll.
was a bot for sure. That wasn't even an individual.
No, that wasn't somebody who was curious. That was somebody who's literally had nothing better to do and said, I got some time to kill. Yeah. Let's see if I can't get a rise out of these brothers. Let's see if I can't go off and knock them off the track. Because I'm not saying all, because I know we wouldn't, but most spots, you do something like that will derail the whole purpose of why they congregate. Yeah. And they'll spend the whole day doing nothing but yelling of stupid things when the person's not even there. It's not even a person.
Yeah.
And you know
like what just came out on IG. Half these women that are on IG that show way too much skin, right? They're not real. They're AI generated. But you got people for 90,000 followers, 100,000, 200,000 followers, and it's not a real person. It's AI generated. But the AI always generates low cut tops and fit leggings type. You know what I'm saying? So certain people jump on, not even thinking about just looking at the image. You plus a heart on that, next thing you know, you're just telling the bot what your type is. Now all that crap's gonna stream into your stream because you liked it. You understand? So it's we're going to programmatically distract you from being able to reach something like what we're doing right here.
To your point, it's kind of on the bot thing, like
Islam. But what's Ice Cube excuse?
Ice Cube. What about Ice Cube?
Yeah, what's his excuse? Why he selling out? He got the same information. You don't know he's a Moor?
Yeah, at this juncture, you have to ask the brother himself, because there's too much information that we've all put out.
Exactly. Hold
on. You asked the question. Hold on. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't yell at me if you ask me the time and the broken clock says it's 9:45, and in actuality it's 9:44 and 38 seconds, and I just point to the clock and tell you that everybody knows is broke. There's the time right there. Are you going to yell at me because I pointed you to a broken clock? Or
no? Thank you for telling us right Ice Cube, bro. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna point at him no more.
Now here's the bigger question. Now he has ties and dealings with Farrakhan. Right? How come Farrakhan all of a sudden, as within the last few years, has been talking this, that, and the third about Moors and Noble Drew Ali? Not coming out straight forth with it, but in a way, dancing around it. But he still stated it. Did he not? I'm not saying you have to support him.
He's been dancing long enough. He needs to tell the truth.
A broke clock is right twice a day. At least twice a day. The broke clock is right. I'm not saying go follow.
Farrakhan, what time is it?
Yeah, exactly. Because he knows. He knows. We have pictures with him, Dougie Fresh's father, Hammurabi Bey, fezzed up, and they're all four of them hugging, taking pictures. You don't think he would ask what's going on with this? Elijah said, those who have the Moors who have their already holy and divine name do not need to take an X. What's the holy and divine name? El Bey De Al and Ali. So if you already got your holy name, you don't get an X. You don't change your name if you go over there. But for those that went over there, I guarantee you, if you do some minuscule research on them, the reason why they went NOI is because they did some F-boy stuff in Temple and got kicked out. So they saw the other options of which we know were completely COINTELPRO infiltrated as viable options to go to, still keep the holy and divine, but continue with the F-boy stuff. And I'm not disrespecting or belittling or besmirching the NOI members, the congregation, or any other groups, nations of gods and earth. I'm saying go do some research on those that founded whatever other side org you wound up getting to, because you're in preschool right now. You ain't graduated. I don't care how long you've been in it. I don't care if you got 39,000 X's. You still in preschool. It's time for you to open your eyes. There's enough information now on the everyday that you ain't got to know somebody, do some crazy handshake, and drop an envelope on a certain day to find out the truth. It's out. You got babies telling people, telling adults, that ain't it. Come on. The ship has long set sail. Long set sail. You just have those naysayers that can't face up to the fact that they got, for lack of a better term, schnookered into whatever they got schnookered into. Oh, I got kicked out the temple. I guess I'm gonna go be a Scientologist and do my audit so that way I can learn about. You're just going to go learn Moorish science for Europeans. Do Scientology. That's why I know why I was there. That's all that is. What do you call a European who knows Moorish science? A sovereign citizen. See, the COINTELPRO still exists. That shit ain't go away. The propaganda and the mental programming is still there. Why? Because you want to take whatever the label is of the new thing that came about, more than likely because you did some F-boy stuff when you was with the truth. You tarnished the name and you're trying to find a way around that. Why do you think you got some? Yeah, Moors back in the day doing what? Changing their appellations 3, 4, 5 times. They do some F-boy stuff. Oops, get bagged up. Okay, now I'm, Kunta Kinte Bay. Oops. Wow. Now I'm this. Now I'm that. That's where it comes from. You got bagged up trying to sell packages. Oh, come back around with a new appellation. No longer an L. Now I'm a Bay. Or now I'm an L Bay. And don't get it twisted. There are honorable L Bays who have L Bays for a reason. Because they're great creators. One was an L and one was a Bay. So they're honoring their mother and their father by carrying L Bay. And for those, I salute. Those who decide to just choose that because they couldn't just make a decision, or those that are trying to obfuscate some transgression against the nation, Allah sees all. And Allah is the best of planners. I'm not worried about it. You'll fall on your own sword. We'll see. With that, I yield.
Islam.
Islam, brother, is last time I checked, though, Farrakhan, he been a traitor ever since he been a reincarnated fool. Islam soldier.
I agree. Wow.
Islam Moors, any closing remarks before we get out of here?
Islam. Happy holidays to all the nobles worldwide.
Islam, same to you, soldier.
I will you love. I will you tranquility. We are in some very, very turbulent times. But the good news is, and this is the good news, the good news is it's not a turbulent time for Moors. The turbulent
Islam.
time is for everybody else who wants to play anything else other. They right now, their world's topsy-turvy. You got a cash system that's about to crash globally. You got hyperinflation on the horizon. You got invisible, lab-created, patented germ warfare being expelled upon you. That's some turbulence right there. It ain't the first time. Look up the true history of 1918, the so-called Spanish flu. It wasn't Spanish, and it wasn't no damn flu. And last thing, it was created in Massachusetts, then also refined at North Carolina. Happens to be the same place where they did the COVID stuff too. Coincidence? I think not. Somebody once told me, no such thing as coincidences. No such thing. Islam. How you?
Islam. I just want to thank Divine Law, Asiatic Woman, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Also want to thank More Avengers, hands down to all the master teachers, Dr. Ali, Brother Cujo L. Thank you, man. Brother 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 Shelton apologized, got caught up just then. Brother Shelton, thank you, man, for all the work that you all have done over the years. Just thank you, man. Honestly, I want to thank RV Bay, brother, Mother Rose Mariah, brother Jamal, brother Nature L, brother Dr. Ali Mel Bay, brother Marino Bay, sister Marina Bay, also as well. Everybody who played an intricate part in uplifting fallen humanity, man. Just thank you for all that you all have done over the years. Thank you. Islam.
Islam. Want to give thanks to the Prophet. Happy Holy Day, Moors. Happy Venus Day.
Holy Day, soldier.
Ashe to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Give thanks and honors, supreme honors to him for bringing us back our nationality. Ashe to Cujo. Ashe to Brother Bay. Ashe to Brother Is. And Ashe to Brother Aseniah and all the Moors in the chat. Ashe to Empress Khalifa. And yeah, man, love all y'all Moors. Keep up.
Love you too, man.
Keep pushing forward, and yeah, man. Y'all have a great, great weekend. Ashe. Islam.
Ashe.
Happy holiday, Moors. And we're just gonna close out with some vibes for the Moors near Hawaii. Brother Uncle Buzz said that all is well where he's at.
Buzz.
We just wanted to send those Moors out there. Send those Moors out there some energy. Peace and love, Moors.
Peace and love, Uncle Buzz. Peace and love, soldiers.
It was written, so we wrote it.
And now we spoke it.
Diagram in the stem
of the lotus.
Disneyland history.
The teacher's hocus pocus.
Only unlock the mystery.
The people need to know this.
And now we know it. It was written, so we wrote it.
And now we spoke it.
7 in the middle of a circle for opening. Disneyland history.
The teacher's hocus pocus.
Only unlock the mystery.
The people need to know this.
Now we know
No
this.
stagnation, we a star nation.
364 to graduation, spinning in levitation, cross station rotation, stay grounded in all locations.
Head cover for the occasion, it's a war outside, controls drop like shell cases, we repel cases with knowledge from our bookcase.
You can tell how they ride, fix your faces, you in the basement, lower self and pride, going up like staircases, through faces we ride.
Like loaves of bread, hold your head, spoken word is sword, invoking lead, the reptile sheds their forehead on my Air Forces, leather seats like Moroccan bosses, my will don't cross it.
Drink the water from this faucet, lost try to proceed with caution. Keep the treaties in a piece like documents up in the office.
Up in the process of claiming names and filling goblets, gripping hands with Moors like Depp and Thanos with their gauntlet. As promised, back to our rightful places. My nation's marching, no squatting, unless we talking bars and parks there.
Out in the tropics, empire rising up, can stop it. This Moorish paradigm, hurt your feelings, but it's logic.
I'm locked in, like Neo locked in, the Hashem doctrine, lyrical slap boxing. I seen Ali and Hopkins.
We in the pit, Martian, I keep a type of options, chopping up the block, then hit the bullseye spot.
Steam out the nostril, they ride not, noble men get robbed not. We not guapping cop plots with avocado crowd.
X marks his thought like clogs in parking lot. That's where the cipher starts on it, buzz is posted off.
So take
notice.
notice.
I got a mission that I'm on, aiming at the Albion, Ema disco with olive oil on the disco dance floor, sliding like it's Crisco. Yeah, man, know the Moorish paradigm, shining like a paradigm, stand on 10 toes. They overthrowing paradise, we taking notice. Yo, Noble Drew Ali brought the prophecy to NBC. Open, lock, and key, and notice how we be in person properly. Allah don't like the Mali, Islam, Farraji, Ali. I'm the Omega mate. I came to demonstrate. Salt and pepper, season up your plate. Occupy your proper place amongst the human race. The current state is hate. Blurry lost the way I came to educate. Dark energy violate. Violence you orchestrate. Violence and operate. Population populate your rifle space. Overcoming opposition. Obstacles obliterate. Pure and clean nation state. Narrow straight. Take notice.
Take notes. Survival is not a rival to a wise fool. I fertilize you when I drop the shit with them whites do. Steam blowing out the nostril to still ride you. Ambassador place, Morocco flags when we slide through. Divine truth, undeniable. Y'all give it right to recite truth. I'm climbing out of Rome with my Bible. Freedom a big mood, the sheep can stay if they like to. But I am nothing like you, so I'm not obliged to. And GMO rappers getting faker than our food. I can close the gate, determine the fate of these proud fools who bars amount to the street value of 3 volumes without 3D valuables. My bars speak volume. Entertainment can't contain my myth or contaminate my mind. I'm walking straight when I'm bent. Wring their neck from North Shore to Bangladesh. And every day to pass over, it ain't safe for kids. I'm explosive, dynamite, far from novice. Consider this affidavit, notice posted in your subconscious. Weeding out the rap nonsense when I drop no responses. What's the problem? My naga, I'm a novelist. I'm not a novice knocking nonsense. When I navigate, that does not exist. They delay the process of paper profits. What say the prophet? Let's save the conscience. What's poppin'? Take notice.
It was written, so we wrote it.
And now we spoke it.
Diagram in the stem
of the lotus.
Disneyland history.
The teacher's hocus pocus.
Only unlock the mystery.
The people need to know this.
And now
Take
we know it.
notice.
It was written, so we wrote it.
And now we spoke it.
7 in the middle of a circle for opening. Disneyland history.
The teacher's hocus pocus.
Only unlock the mystery.
The people need to know this.
Now
Take
we notice.